economically, culturally speaking, no matter how you want to look at any culture, how successful they're going to be all throughout history, it comes down to the one thing. Sounds like a bumper sticker slogan, but faith, family, freedom, and of course, you can philosophically look a whole lot more into those three things. But if a society is going to be successful, you're going to have those three things. And right now in the US, those three things are declining as well. But right now, we are riding on the wave of our previous success while we think it's okay to allow those three things to decline.
There's
Right. Yeah, I
music
hear you.
playing
I
out
don't hear the
there.
music. Like that's why
The
I'm muting my mic. I'm like, hmm.
Well, I'm glad everything we're looking over today is going to be muted, except that completely screws the pooch on my YouTube paleontology bit. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sasquatch Shills, where Sasquatch screws everything up and we just pretend like it didn't happen. So we've had an excellent day today. We started out with my mic frying out on me, so I'm on the old PlayStation mic. I probably sound like a fighter pilot right about now, but Breaker 19. Is anyone there? Anyway, so we've got Yeet here live, and I'm still playing in my ear. Let me stop that from happening. All right, but everything else is working, right? Yeah, you can hear me. They just can't hear any of my media at all. That is
Yeah,
starting to get
I
actually
can't
crazy.
hear any media.
Right, right. Um, I wonder. No, all of that set up. It's all properly propered. But anyway, so look, we're here to talk to you anyway. The fucking music doesn't matter, and everything but my YouTube paleontology bit is muted. So we'll just skip the trick on that one and move on with it. So we've got a double handful of people here. Obviously, you've already been kind of introduced, so we'll bring you up into the picture. How you doing, brother?
What up? What up?
So say the full name of your channel for me.
My channel's name is Eat Radio. Live free, live life.
All right. I've tried every time I've tried to say that out loud, I have screwed the pooch on it constantly. It's just terrible. Uh, I'm an aficionado of short names when possible. I think my channel name is too long, and I didn't realize it until I actually tried telling people what it was, and they couldn't remember it to save their lives. So you say Yeet Radio. There's another channel called Yeet Radio, and you're not Yeet Radio. You're the other one.
Well, it used
You're
to be Yeet. It's a cop, and then it was Eat Radio. But I have a smaller one. That yeah, it's Eat Radio. I think.
Yeah, is that you? Okay. Well, I saw the
Yeah,
Yeet
I think so. It
Radio
still
one.
got the yeah. If it's got the little pig head with the donut, Yeet. It's a cop, then
I
it's me.
don't even remember. So I attempted to play the Doors as an intro. We'll do that next week. Whoever gets that lucky slot will end up with a pretty cool intro. But the upside is, I imagine I didn't get a copyright claim on that one for the first time ever. I might actually have a clean stream.
Heck yeah, right.
I don't. I usually just.
Progress.
No, this is total fucking screwed the pooch. I've been tinkering with it, and I thought I had it worked out, and I thought you heard the stuff I was hearing when we were starting up, and you seemed to respond to it. So
Well,
the
no, I
live
was just
folks get to
watching the.
find
I was just watching the little thing, the little countdown thing. I'm like, okay, I'll just stay quiet. Maybe something will happen here.
All right. So you got arrested, and was it Rhode Island?
Oh yeah, Providence, Rhode Island, at the
Yeah,
state capitol. I was with Breaking the Flaw, and
that's
it was
right.
actually a really good day. We stopped by the train X station. We seen a whole bunch of officers. One of the female officers tipped her hat towards us, and out of respect. And it was pretty good. Well, visit. I got like a map of where all the different trains went from the train X and stuff across the country or whatever. And so it was pretty cool. Then we went up here to the Capitol because he wanted to show me around the Capitol that every bit of this is supposed to be 100% public, and it turned into a complete shit show.
Right.
Pardon my
I got you.
language.
It do that real quick when cops get involved. Like I was saying earlier, when anytime, in any case, when you deal with a cop, you are already having a pretty fucked up day. So why they show up all with their assholes up on their shoulders, I'll never understand. I understand the concept of quote unquote taking control of a situation, but some situations aren't for them to control.
Hmm. Well, so what's funny about Rhode Island police is people mistake Rhode Island police and say that they look like Nazis because of their
Oh, yes, sir.
uniforms.
Oh, yes, sir.
That's not true. Actually,
I know.
the Nazis look like Rhode Island police because they stole the Rhode Island police's uniforms for their rankings.
I thought it was the same guy designed both the uniforms and used a lot of the same like designs for both of them. Colors were different, but other than cut
Right.
and all that stuff was very, very similar. And so why on earth you would keep that uniform afterwards, I just don't understand, because you're just begging for it. All right, hey man, let's go through chat right quick. I kind of skipped it with the disaster of not having any sound. You know what's funny is this is why I didn't do my show last week. I thought I had fixed it, and apparently I have not. But let's see.
Ah,
We have Kenny Powers. Kenny Powers.
Kenny
He says,
Powers. What's up,
"Hola, Yeet.
Kenny?
How are you doing?" He
How
gets the gold.
doing?
American Justice of Texas gets the silver, and Princess OPD with the bronze. You go, girl. I hear you. Have you checked out any of her streams?
No, I have
She
not.
does these dog walking streams, and all I can really say about them is they're very entertaining, and you never know what you're going to get. Her
I'm
team
gonna
is
have to
always
check them out.
diligently at work. You
Leave a
need to check
comment, or
Princess.
leave a comment on my channel, and I'll go back and I'll look at your channel, look over your channel a bit.
I
I'll
love
check
hairy
you out.
nuts. I have to say it at
I'll
least
ch-
once a stream that I love hairy nuts. Caucasian Sasquatch loves hairy nuts. Hairy nuts does a live stream every now and then. He also posts really interesting shorts of stuff that he does. You know, that
uh-huh.
kind of stuff. We got Keith and Chief in the house.
Okay.
That's pretty cool. He does neat stuff. We got Hammer Time Media in the house. That's cool. Cheese Bear. Pepperoni Audits has showed up. It's good to see you, brother. I hadn't been around the past couple of weeks.
Pepperoni audits. What's
I
happening,
completely stopped doing
pepperoni?
YouTube for a minute, so there's that. So no shade on anybody. I just kind of got fed up with technical issues and cancellations and people having problems that became problems for my show, and I was just like, Sasquatch sad. Sasquatch take nap. So I did. I slept it off, and I'm back. And we're better.
Look at that. That was
Doing
the
all
Hell
right.
Hitler sign. That was his Hitler sign right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
Hell Hitler.
That was the thumbnail, wasn't it? If it wasn't, you missed a hell of a shot.
Yeah.
We got Keith and Chief in the house. Good to see you. Miss You Be Chillin' 909. She's here. It's good to see her. They've got a real spicy channel over there too. They do some cool stuff. Toe for Life. And yeah, you can't see my werewolf support poster behind me anymore. I got it covered up with oh yeah, that's something I want to show y'all. This is the painting that I bought from An Abstract Look. And
Yeah, that is an awesome painting.
he does
Oh,
all
talking about
sorts of stuff.
paintings.
Yeah, we're getting into
Um,
that. We're coming to that. We'll get to that in just a second.
yeah, we'll
Let
get
me
to that
finish
in a
the chat
minute.
right quick. Oh, ow. And try not to break my painting. And maybe even start the quotes, because the quotes never started. That's supposed to happen automatically. Anyway, so I don't need my boom mic because it's already on my face and I just coughed in everybody's ear. You're welcome. Congratulations. We've got Carl in the house. That's good to see. MVTV,
Carl.
Montana Vigilante TV. Hey man, he's got some pretty cool stuff over there. It's hard to explain what it is. It's kind of a little bit of everything. We got John Eagle.
Yeah,
He does
guys, leave me comments and I'll check it out. I've done audits, post offices, courthouses. I
well,
notice.
I'm not an auditor, right? I just present them on YouTube.
Right.
I support the
Well,
First Amendment community
I feel
100%.
myself more as a cop watcher. I like to cop watch a lot more than I do auditing. I do like auditing sometimes, but I prefer cop watch if I'm by myself. Um,
All right, well, we got one last guy in here. His name is Taz. Oh, Snarkin' Sass just walked in too, but Taz is here. He said, "Hey, Harry Nuts," and hey, everybody else. Apparently, he's on top of it. John Eagle's in here. He's got an interesting channel. He's working on
How's it going, everybody?
having a oops. All right. So typically this is where I do my YouTube paleontology bit, but I'm willing to bet you dollars and donuts I'm the only one that's going to hear this when I do it. But it'll at least show you a picture. No, it's coming out of my freaking laptop. Start raving batshit crazy. I give up. I give up.
Oh, I solved the problem with the world's gas on my community page.
Oh, fantastic.
You know what it is?
I have no clue.
It is a wood and watered power bicycle, and it works. It works just like a train engine, except it powers off of a trike type of bicycle.
Ow. Ow.
I've seen that video, and I'm like, dude, I'm sharing that.
Oh yeah, that's definitely gonna work. I can see lots of people exploding. You know, steam power might be
No,
pretty
he was
reliable, but it's
cruising.
not safe.
He was cruising, man. He was. He was actually cruising down the road.
But it's not safe. The average
Oh no, it's
person
not
doesn't
safe.
have the expertise to maintain a steam engine to operating specifications. And when it goes wrong, it really goes
It
wrong.
really goes wrong, right? Especially when you forget to properly add brakes and your tires go out.
Air brakes and your blood
I've had that happen many a times on pit bikes and mini bikes.
Yeah.
I used to run an Oklahoma moped and mini bike community group. I actually still have it on Facebook. And people would trade and sell mopeds and little mini bikes, stuff like that. It was just like real cool. It was like the Muskogee area, but it was like a little kind of little thing. Then people would, want to report like RVs and stuff. Look, if it's got wheels, they can post it. I don't care.
That's fucking brilliant, dude. I love it. All right, so you consider yourself more of a cop watcher, less of an auditor. What was it that got you into cop watching in the first place? Is it this paleontology video I dug up? Because I'm a YouTube paleontologist.
Oh no.
This one's pretty
one
wacky.
One of my friends started showing me a few different channels. He was like, "Hey, check out over here, check out this right here, Eric Brandt, showing me different cop watchers, James Freeman and stuff." And I'm like, so I'm looking around, and I'm like, and I actually, before I started cop watching, I was just watching it. I actually leaned more towards Eric Brandt's mentality when it came to things. But I mean, as far as what got me into cop watching, there's just so many different stories of police interactions before I was ever into civil rights. Where like there was one time, my friend had a restraining order against his old lady, and she would always come over to the house, and he would let her, but to see the kids, and then she would have to go after a couple hours. Well, one night she was going on like 11, almost 12 o'clock at night. She was refusing to go and caused a big scene, called the cops, had these big old crocodile tears they're talking about taking him to jail. I was like, well, if you take him to jail, I want to sign a witness report. And we about to go down there and bail him out. And he said, you ain't signing no witness report. I said, I have the right to a witness report because I've seen everything that happened. And he's like, no, you don't. You need to just sit down and shut up. My buddy Larry, he was like, hey, you don't tell him that I fought for our rights to speak. Because he was like, you sit down, you shut up, you say one more word, I'll take you to jail with them. And my buddy, he had to kind of intervene because I went ahead and went in the house at this time to avoid going to jail. But there's just so many different interactions. I had a police officer one time. I was a passenger in a vehicle that got pulled over. This police officer lady come rolling up on me like a cop watcher. It was like a cop watcher would like. You wouldn't think that a cop watcher would just roll up on a random citizen. You know what I'm saying? And just start filming them in their vehicle like a passenger or something. But this is what the cop did. Like, Just straight up, she's just like up by the, you know, and try to tell me I had a warrant in a state I never been in. Nah.
Nah. Yeah, you're gonna have to extradite me on that one, big dog.
Oh man, it was funny.
I
I
had some
told him I
marshals.
better.
I had some guys try to bring me in on a speeding ticket that I had paid and conceded. Like that shit was 4 months ago. I'd done paid for it, wasn't even thinking long thoughts about that shit. And they showed up at my workplace, all dressed in black suits, telling me they needed to talk to me in the break room. I was like, fellas, y'all got the wrong guy. I don't even know what the hell this is about, but it ain't me. They're like, well, you're supposed to be in court. And I was like, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I concede that I'm guilty of speeding in that small town, I can just pay them, right? They're like, yeah. So well, I paid them. What's the issue?
So
I concede. Yes, I was speeding. I was probably running 102 through that place. They put me down for a 45. I'm happy with it.
so after about a year of watching civil rights activists and stuff like that, when I first moved to Muskogee, I was homeless my first 6 months. I was working, but I was homeless, and when I was saying it was hard, it was pretty rough. But I saved up the money. I ended up getting myself an apartment, and then the AIDS hit, and so I lost my job pretty much right after I got my apartment, and I got on unemployment for a couple of months, and decided, I better go ahead and move back up north, even though I didn't really want to. But like, so I studied. Well, I was just not really studying, but just watching different cop watchers, civil rights activists, and I started hitting the streets of Muskogee really hard for about 8 months straight, 9 months straight, to the point where my friend rolled up on them with a camera one day, and they accused him of being me. And so I was watching his live stream, and I seen it, and I actually showed up, and then they chased me back with AR-15s.
Oh, fuck
Um,
that.
dude, yeah, we had cops shining us, and they had a whole entire city block in, like taken over, so they could go raid someone's house without a warrant, trying to push all of us back.
Oh, Lord.
And then like they were yelling at me to get back, and then he was like, "What's funny is I was closer to that, and they didn't say nothing to me when I was that
Okay.
close."
So tell me what this is about. This is your first video that you ever uploaded on that I have access to that you've uploaded on your channel. It's 3 years old, like 3 years and 5 months or something like that.
So that video is actually, I want to say that video is 5 or 6 years old, because
Right.
I did know about cop watchers, and I moved back and forth from Muskogee a little bit before I got into cop watching in Muskogee. And at this time, like, this was when I first got introduced to it, and so I went. The Border Patrol had pulled us over while we were gassing up, and they started searching everyone, and all of the Spanish people that were on the Greyhound. He walks up and he's like, "You guys have papers, or you're all Americans?" Da 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 da. And he's like, "Anyone that's white,
Bitch, this ain't a
he's not
kennel.
asking them for
I ain't got no
papers."
fucking papers. I'm sorry. I
Right.
ain't got
Well,
none.
anyone
I'm
that's
not
white, he's
bred.
not asking them for papers. He's not asking them for ID. He's just asking them if they're American. But um if they're Spanish, he's pulling them off of the bus. And so that's kind of what's happening. He's like gathering up the Spanish. There was one that was in the bathroom while it was going down, and he comes back out. I was like, "Dude, you made it!" And he's like, "Yeah, I made it," because I'd been talking to him. And I was like, "Fuck yeah!"
Hello, Angel. Welcome to the show. It's good to see you.
But yeah, you can
Okay,
see him
so
because he's telling them one at a time to get off.
this is where at Muskogee? Outside of
Actually,
Muskogee?
no. At the time, I had been traveling back and forth, and I hadn't done a cop watch yet. This is actually in
Right.
Sandusky,
Sandusky. I'm
Ohio.
sorry. Right. Okay.
Sandusky,
And
Ohio.
you're in Ohio. This is the definition of a flyover state, and yet they have a border patrol set up looking for Southern immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
And
No,
the
well, no, it
border,
wasn't just Southerners though. There was Koreans. There was like anybody of a different skin color. They were pulling off of the bus,
Well, that's not
and getting their
cool.
papers from them. And if their papers were expired, they were taking them to jail. It was messed up.
Papers. Papers, please. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I get all sketchy when somebody asks me for papers. Like, man, I ain't no dog. This ain't no fucking kennel. We ain't got no pedigree. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Papers. Back the fuck off. Get out of my face and stop bothering me. I'm no longer going to have a part of this conversation. And I don't say shit. I just,
Yeah, and I didn't say nothing really the whole video. I kind of talked to myself a tiny bit, but I never said nothing to. He never even asked me. He looked at me and he just kept walking.
it must be that Irish blood or whatever. It was certainly Caucasian. I'll give you that much. No
Hmm.
way. Um, all right. So has anybody guessed who the quotes are from? Anybody just throw out an answer out there and we'll see. Also, in about 10 minutes, we're going to end the poll and put a different poll up. And we'll see what's what with that. Beyond that, we have about another at the 30-minute mark. We're going to bring up your Nolly D bit, and we're going to take a look into that because I would love to cover some of that.
Okay. So another part of my
I got
channel
one more.
is
I got one more video that we're gonna
Oh
kind
yeah,
of
yeah, 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 yeah,
chat
yeah,
over
yeah.
first, and I think it's what I think it's like. Yeah, it's 20 minutes, but we're only going to cover about 8 minutes of it. Got a
Yeah.
specific project.
And this video, honestly, it could have been a number of things. I don't know. I could have been putting stickers up. I could have been, if it's the courthouse one. Honestly, don't know.
All
I've got
right,
like
so
almost 500 videos.
yeah, no, you're fairly proliferous. A lot of them are streams, but it's always something interesting and different. So
I
let's
don't really
see.
know how to tag stuff to where it gets views. You know what I'm
I don't
saying? Like I
tag
don't really
the
know.
the only thing
Yeah, I don't know how to do all that.
I tag my videos with is your channel on your
Mm,
episode. And that's so that
okay.
when people come and look at this and they see this episode, they can find several ways of finding your channel. Also, I'll go through your
Oh,
content over the next
I
couple of
remember
weeks
this one. I
and try
remember this
to
one.
put together a short or two to upload. And it'll also be linked back to your channel, to the original video. So I'm not trying to take views. I'm trying to generate views. And there's only a double. Yes, Cheese Bear wins again. George Washington. You are
Hello,
correct.
Cheese Bear. How's it going?
Yeah, she's an absolute boss mod. Her and Judd, this channel wouldn't exist without them. I wouldn't be nearly as
Awesome.
copacetic. I really wouldn't. Um, I ain't really worried about nobody coming in and screwing around too hard with my chat because they'll do some out so fast to make your head spin. We might not even notice they
Okay.
were here.
I got you. I feel you. So this one right here, I actually just had went to get a FOIA request, and he's telling me I can't film. Da 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 da. And I'm like, you can't just while I stand here where I'm already at, you can't just go back there. You know, get me a FOIA request and let me be on my way. Like, why are you making this? He was going back and forth for like, so I kept letting him go back and forth with it, you know, and and it was like, and it even got to the point where I had called his supervisor, and I'm talking to his supervisor, and I'm like, you know, I really wanted to sit down and do interviews with police officers who are trying to do a change in the community, you know, because people are always talking about the bad. Well, there are some that are good. Like there are officers that have straight up told me when I did trespassed them from the house that they don't trespass themselves. And then there's officers that know they're trespassing. They've straight up, hey, I'll talk to you out here on the sidewalk. I know you. I respect your right to trespass, and I know you don't want me on your property. And you know, they're some of the younger cops. It seems like the younger guys are more reasonable to deal with.
Yeah, they're also more personable in general. I've found around here at least, some of the worst cops to get on any pullover locally are the old cops, the ones that are over
Hmm.
50 but under retirement age. These guys, man, they come in super hard, super hot on things that there's no need to do that with, you know. And I just don't understand it.
Yeah,
I
this
don't
is
get
pretty
it.
much, where I'm asking him if he took an oath to the Constitution, and it's just going back and forth and back and forth. And at one point, he actually asked me, "Oh yeah, the thing about this video." At one point, he says, "Well, I don't know what you're getting at because we're going back and forth. I don't know how y'all do things down south." So at that point, it seemed to me like he was pushing me out of the building because of where I was from, my heritage, what I'm about, because I am from the South. I'm proud of my Southern lifestyle. Um, and if I could go back there today, I would be that. I would be back there today.
Well,
When
do you know
eventually,
the words? Do you know the words to "I'm a good old rebel"?
negative, negative.
That,
I would
sir,
lose my Southern
is
card.
crying shame.
But I do know the song uh
Or maybe you don't.
sweet potato pie.
Oh my god. Okay, I'll buy that. I'll accept that as a secondary substitute. But if it's not there, you need to
You
check
said
in
that
on
one
the.
saved you. You
Yeah,
said that one
you're
saved
safe.
Okie from
You're safe.
Muskogee. I made a
Okay.
remake from from Muskogee a
Mm.
long time ago. That was pretty funny. Oh, Merle
Uh,
Haggard.
all right. Do you at least know Mississippi Squirrel Revival?
I'm gonna plead the fifth on that.
Oh my lord! All right, you might have lost your Southern card on that one. No more saying y'all. You're not allowed to say y'all or eat grits anymore. Sweet tea is completely off the
Shit.
menu.
Rats.
Breakfast just
Oh
became much
man.
more enlightened. You know what
It's
grits
funny
are?
because I came up here, man. Every time I come up here, it's funny because everyone talks with an accent, but they say I have an accent, and I think I talk normal. And they'll be up here
Oh,
talking about, "Hey, can we use your car to go and
your
run to the
car.
store?
Can the car
Yeah,
go
your
to the bar?
go to
Are
the
you?
bar." Or like, when they say beer,
Beer. The Bears. The Bears. The Bulls.
oh my goodness.
Yeah. I love
I'm
accents
like,
though.
what?
I really
What
do.
did you say?
All right,
Yeah,
all right, all right,
man.
all right. So, wait, what have you got planned in the future? What are you going to do with your channel? Are you mostly doing streams currently? Are you planning on doing any more cop watching or auditing?
So I am planning on doing cop watching, more cop watching and protesting. Right now, I'm going through a civil case in New Hampshire. I am fighting pretty much what I call contempt of cop. It's disobeying a police officer for my right to because I did not answer with my name when he asked. He asked instead of for my ID and registration, he asked for my name. Well, whenever somebody that with a badge and uniform asks me a question, I don't answer,
Yeah.
you know. And so they got me fighting that right now. And the prosecutor, I've been fighting it. It wasn't like I tried working with him, just like go ahead and let me pay $200 and let it be done with so I can move. Because I want to go to Oklahoma, but I don't want to go to Oklahoma with pending cases and then get caught up
Right.
on cases later on down the road. You know what I'm saying? When I could have taken care of them. And then he pushed the trial for over a year. And the trial, so finally I filed a motion and then he finally set it for trial, but I don't even have a trial date. And so I'm asking my friends that have been through the courts in New Hampshire, I'm like, hey, have you guys ever received a notification, of your when they say state of New Hampshire versus da 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 da, they give you a trial date with that, and it's your your not necessarily a trial date, but where you talk to the judge, you present the case to it, and then they take it to trial, or whatever. Um, this is it's crazy because I still haven't even pled guilty or not guilty.
Mm, that is nuts. That is nuts. I'm not a huge fan of interstate lawfare, I guess you'd call it. It just seems to be another way to drain the populace of money. Instead of it being one bureaucracy
Hmm.
doing it, it's suddenly two bureaucracies from two different municipalities. I'm just a
Hmm.
fuck that kind of shit. You know, I don't know what I'd do about it, but I handle most of it by simply not leaving the state unless necessary. That way I have a firm grasp on the local laws. Like, for instance, you can make a right turn in Georgia on red. You cannot do that in South Carolina. So when I go on vacation to the beach, I got to keep that shit in mind at every single red
Mm-hmm.
light where I might take a right turn. I say it out loud. No right turns.
All right. Well, that's like
No.
here in New Hampshire. Here in New Hampshire, say you're at a red light where it doesn't have the green arrow, and you have your left turn signal on, right? The people that's behind them can go ahead and go around them. Take the shoulder and go around them to keep the flow of traffic moving. Now, you go places down in Oklahoma, and you do that in places down in Oklahoma where it's a highway, or even in towns. The towns, the speed limits are higher than the people. You got 80 miles an hour on the interstate. It's awesome. Um, 35, usually 35 in town, 45 as soon as you start getting a little bit out of town. If it's two lane, bigger town, city road.
Right.
Um, I've done a lot of protesting of the inspection sticker here in New Hampshire, because my main goal for coming up here was to really make an impact when it came to some of the driving laws. And I think that this case that I'm going through, where I'm being charged with something for not answering my name when he should have asked me for my driver's license, you know, um,
Oh yeah.
it's kind of messed up. And when I win, not if I win, when I win, it's going to set case precedence, because I am going to take legal action with how long it's taken and how long they've made me pretty much sit here because of a case that is pending. Um, and the messed up thing about it is statute of limitations. Once you are charged with the crime, there really is no statute of limitations on it, as my interpretation.
Right. No, they get as much time as they need to prosecute, but you have to be charged in a timely fashion.
Right.
That's how I understand it. So once you're charged, they can regroup, reload, really get to bear
What's
on
that
you.
saying? Due process delayed. Um, what is that? I can't remember. There's a saying, but I can't really remember it. It's like due process delayed is something or another. I can't remember it.
I got another banner.
Is no or due process delayed is no due process at all, or something like that.
Right. No, locally, if you get picked up on like a misdemeanor possession charge, you don't even actually get a day in court. What happens is you get put in front of the judge, told that you're pleading guilty and what your sentence will be.
Right. And then if you have something to say, they'll tell you it's about $1,500 to fight it.
Right. Uh, my issue was that I was completely guilty of what I was being charged with the exception of the 9 felonies they had tacked on just to kind of get me to plea, I guess. I don't know. But I
Right.
was of the opinion that I was actually guilty of one of these charges. The only way I'm pleading guilty to anything is if that is the only charge I'm pleading guilty to. I will not plead guilty to any other charge. And the judge didn't like that, but he kind of saw what I was coming from too. And
Right.
on
Right.
the other side, the game warden that had arrested me never didn't show up to court till after everything was done. And that judge
Hmm.
was very unhappy with that, man.
Yeah, you probably could have fought that in appeals.
I could have, but at the time I was strung out on every drug known to man and wasn't really up for that type of a legal consideration.
I feel you. I understand. And hey, I'm young. I'm 32. I feel like I'm older. I've always had a saying, and it's kind of weird. Growing up, I always thought that I was gonna die around like 30 or something. And then whenever I hit 30, my mindset changed, and I was actually trying to, like, I'm sitting there one night, now that I'm 30, I'm like, how am I going to live until I'm 40? And the
Right.
question changed. It changed to, no, no, I'm going to die at 40, but how, or 30, but how can I live? How can I expand? Because once you get there, you don't realize how fast that, 20 years or 30 years, all of those, years go by. And when you're young, you get hot headed. I used to get really hot headed. Um, and you learn, you make mistakes, you learn, it makes you a better person. Um, and actually, that's what makes you a stronger person, is when you learn, and it gives you experience.
One of these quotes over here from George Washington, I'm pretty sure it was him, said something about good decisions comes from experience, but experience comes from making bad decisions.
Hmm.
So bad decisions are part of the character building experience. Without that, you don't know the difference between a good and a bad decision.
And then it's not until a lot of times where someone's like, "Hey, dude, check yourself a minute," and then you start thinking, "Damn, that is kind of messed up," and you start figuring out your morality a little bit, and that's where we hold ourselves kind of accountable, because we know where our morality line stands. You know what I mean?
Yeah. With me, it all came to a crystallization around the concept of gaslighting. I had an experience with a group of people who all got together and conspired to gaslight four people into believing that certain things were true and other things were not true. And when I realized what was going on, it put me off my feed so hard that I could do nothing other than burn the whole organization down and see if there was anything worth rebuilding out of the ashes. And that's kind of how I approach problems in my life. People who have problems with me stop having problems with me real soon after, because I'll burn everything down. And if it's worthwhile,
Yeah.
it'll still be there after the fire.
So we got looks like about
Got
22 minutes.
22 minutes, just 21 minutes. Yeah, go for it, dude. Do your thing.
So also some stuff that I've been doing. I've actually been doing it for a long time. It's helping First Amendment auditors, civil rights activists, usually smaller channels,
Yep.
um, and occasionally big channels. They pop in, they see it, they say what's up to me. But I do panels, free talk panels, because I've really been wanting to give people a voice, a way to where, if they have, something, police violence, police brutality, just something that happened to them, even if you were incarcerated, things that you had to deal with, in incarceration, whatever it may be at the time, victims of male violence. We've actually been promoting a painting from Nolly D.
That's right.
Um, and I did a stream yesterday, a panel yesterday. We went from ninth place to sixth place in 3 hours
Yeah,
on
that
one
was pretty
panel.
cool.
And it
I
was
was
awesome. It
busy.
was awesome to see, dude. It was awesome. And so what it is she has a painting entered into a contest for $25,000. It's free to vote. And all you gotta do is it's a Facebook login to vote freely. And then if you want to do an impact vote and vote extra, um, there's like $1. It's like $1 to vote. So
Right.
what she's going to do with this $25,000 is she is going to start up a safe house for male victims of domestic violence, male victims and their children,
Right.
and who are victims of domestic violence. And she's going to have a safe house made for them. She has had the old mayor of her town agree that whatever funding she receives for this safe house, he is going to match dollar for dollar. So if she wins, he is going to match $25,000 to this safe house. And by the end of the night, I hope to see her in third place. YouTube is a very huge place,
It is.
because it's not about me. It's not about Noe. At the end of the day, it's about the children, because 9 times out of 10, whenever it be the male or the female, when you're in an abusive situation, the one who is hurt the most is the children, because they see what's going on and they continue the cycle and they think it's okay to do that to their significant other. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And so whenever 9 times out of 10, when it is happening to the male doesn't have anywhere to go unless it's family that's willing to take them in.
That's right.
Um, and if there were more places that the male could go to get this kind of help, because a lot of homeless shelters really don't like kids, you know. Um, I mean, they will take them, but they won't, and it's really unsanitary to have them in a homeless shelter where a
Oh,
safe house can be maintained. And it's more of a thing where, you do your daily dues, you know, and you kind of get up on your feet, you get yourself in order so you can get your kid and your wife in order, you know, and that's the biggest thing that America needs right now.
um, 007. The reason you didn't have your mod wrench is because you were modded on your Richie Rich channel, not on your Double O channel. So there's that. Before you get all miffy, sensitive. Um, no, you've actually got a pretty good conversation going over here in chat. Um, Carrie suggests watching Men Don't Tell, loosely based on the true story. It's on fuck YouTube, but it might be for Bio the Rant. Yeah, no, he doesn't ever say just YouTube. It's one word for him. Fuck YouTube.
So I'm gonna get a parrot. I'm gonna get a parrot, and I want a pirate hat. I want a custom pirate hat made to where it's got a camera built into it, and I
I
can
want
click
a
a
tinfoil
button,
crockhorn hat.
and it's linked to a
Hey, ladies and
YouTube
gentlemen.
channel, right? And I want the
Yeah.
YouTube channel name to be called Parrot with a Camera. All right. And when I'm out cop watching, like I'm gonna have this parrot listening to Eric Brandt in the background for about 5 months.
That's fucked up. There's something wrong with you, kid. Definitely something wrong. Oh, I screwed the pooch. I moved it. I didn't mean to move it. There we go.
So then I don't even have to say nothing. The parrot can say it for me. But no, I've been using my channel a lot. I want people to have a voice. There's panels where I'll just post them up, and if you want to come up and talk, I post them up for 3 or 4 hours. Sometimes I don't have StreamYards because I get 20 hours that I juggle between 3 or 4 accounts.
Right. I spent so much time on my first couple of shows backstage with people trying to convince them to come on the show in the first place because I had like 7 subscribers. And they were just
Mhm.
like, I don't know if it's a good fit. I'm like, I'm not a good fit for nobody. I don't have it. So nobody ever see this ever. I mean, it's just going to die in the ether sphere. There's no point in being nervous. And well, then this happened. So here we
I
are.
want to get
Doing
Yeet bobbleheads where it's got like my logo where you got the pig head eating a donut,
right.
and then you can set it up on your car and it'll be sitting there bobbling. Have it to where you can squeeze the head and it goes oink oink.
Oink, oink, motherfucker. Hey, mystery schooler. Welcome to the show. I
Oh
kind of got this
man.
weird feeling that my internet's fixing to dump on me. It's giving me it's
I
giving me
try
the
to
old
be on the
sketchy eye.
humorous side. I have a little bit of all humor. I think funny humor,
All right,
dark
so let me ask
humor.
you this. Are you familiar with Joe and Misty's Secret Garden? No?
No.
Okay. So Joe and Misty's Secret Garden are these two people, Joe and another person named Misty. And I'm not sure how they're associated. They seem to be on opposite sides of the planet. She has an accent. He has a different accent. It's a very interesting and eclectic channel, except for one thing. They specialize in the morning smoke off. They smoke more weed in a session in the morning than I smoke in 2 weeks. And I'm not exaggerating a bit. They would blow my back out in the first hour. I'd be just curled up in a corner, couldn't deal. But if you're interested in that kind of stuff, it's absolutely fantastic content. It's a live stream type
Okay.
environment, but all of the people are growers. And so they're constantly giving tours of their little grow rooms, their setups, their
Oh
aquaponics,
really?
their hydroponics. It's awesome. It's really cool. I don't generally chat in chat because I'm usually cooking or doing
I'm
something else when they
in
go live.
Muskogee when weed was legalized. We helped war veteran get a trailer set up, and get commercial. He ended up getting his own commercial grow license. Then we got the trailer set up. We got the trailer insulated. Got him to where he could grow, I want to say 100 indoor plants. And then, I've helped, like my best friend, I helped him set one up. Um, and I've had a couple of little experiments going where it's like, so, like you were talking about hydroponics. Well, I wanted
Right.
to do one where it was hydroponics, except it was in soil to where the soil was the nutrients.
Yeah, I
And
heard
so
you
that's
talking
what,
about that earlier. Yeah.
right. So that's what I was working on. When I first started the experiment, I started it with a 2 liter pop bottle. You cut the 2 liter pop bottle in half, you flip it over,
Right.
you put the lid on there, you cut some holes in the lid, you put some dirt on the inside of it, and then you put it down into the water. You put a little
That's
pump in
just
there.
drip feed irrigation,
Yeah,
brother. When you get into
yeah.
aquaponics and stuff, you start having to worry about your ammonia cycle and how many worms you got and how much poop you're feeding them. You got to
Oh, really?
calculate your ammonia content based off of the amount of feed that you put in. Like right now, my aquaponics is actually about 2 months overdue for culling to get rid of some of the
Hmm.
fish. And my bluegill that I put in 2 years ago are freaking 2 hand big slabs. They're fat,
So,
and I need to change them out. I need to take them out because it's too many big fish. So everything's
so what
cloudy.
I did is like I had it to where I had it set up to where right around time, like a few months into or like like into veg before you start flower. That way, it still has to have a little time to get over the shock and whatnot. Because usually you end up transplanting them if it's a dirt grow, and if you know what you're doing, it usually comes out pretty good. Um, I would you would I would take those hydroponic grows like I was trying, experiment with ways to make it to where it starts out hydroponic while in veg, and then when you go from end veg to flower, you would be growing out of dirt, 5 gallon bucket. You got your frog skin dirt. Um, I think it's like called like frog skin 303
Right.
compost or something.
It's
Um,
the underwater stuff. Yeah.
hmm Well, no, like it would actually be turned into where it's like just pretty much a dirt grow, and then you would have it in flower as a regular type plant, to where it's not a hydroponics or anything like that.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
but
I've
and
always
I don't
wanted to
know
try the.
everything. Trust, I don't know everything.
I would like to try a what's it called, Dutch bucket method. I think in the right circumstance for the right plants in the right circumstance, that could be a very promising method. But you have to choose correctly. Things like broccoli and whatnot be fine. Tomatoes maybe not so great because some tomatoes need a little bit more room than a broccoli head do.
Hmm.
So if
Right.
you're going to grow up or something like that, yeah, it could be excellent. But if you're not doing that, like what I was wanting to do on my aquaponics was set up a dozen Dutch buckets around the edge and let them dump back into the sump. But I kind of ran out of gas, funding, and energy doing it.
I've actually seen stuff like that. So yeah.
Next time I'm actually active and you go live, I'll pop on and I'll give you a little tour. It's all grungy and funky right now because I've got too many fish in it and they're too big. So
Hmm.
just kind of overlook that because that's a temporary thing. Uh, I gotta add some. I got some. Do you know what Trip L crop tomatoes are? All right. There's the legend of
No.
the legendary tree tomato, the Italian tree tomato, right? Okay. These things make
Hmm.
3, 4 pound tomatoes. They're like enormous, enormous tomatoes. And I always thought they were some kind of a clickbait BS. And a couple of years ago, I had a guy give me a couple of seeds, and they're not BS. If you give them the right nutrients and stuff, they will grow a 3, 4, 5 pound tomato, like freaking enormous.
Nice.
So after I got my aquaponics set up, I decided this summer I'm going to grow a single Trip L tree up my chimney.
So
And
I
I'm
wanted
going
to
to trade
start
it
up a
out across the
secondary
side of the
channel,
house.
kind of. And
Right.
what I want to do, I've been saving up silver coins. The way I'll do that is when I get cash, I'll go to the banks and I'll trade in for the rolls of quarters. And I'll open the roll of quarters up, you flip them over sideways, and you look for the one that don't have
Right.
copper on it, right?
Exactly.
And so I've been saving up those Morgan silver dollars, just different silver I can get my hands on. Um, and like, I actually want to get into like metalworking videos on YouTube, things like that. I think that would be really cool to get
I made
into,
a silver
making
ring out of a silver
jewelry.
quarter. I did that thing.
Right, like I have a Morgan dollar that I want to turn into a silver ring on YouTube, but I need to get a crucible. I need to get a torch, um,
No, you
and
don't.
then I need to get a
You're working
way.
in silver. You just need a decent spoon and patience.
Oh
Lots of
yeah,
patience. Lots of patience. You just work on it. I got me a little hammer. I got a tiny little jeweler's hammer, and that's kind of what I did was sat down with it and I drilled a hole through the middle of it, and then I basically used the steel of nail and the steel hammer to kind of pinch it into a ring big enough to fit. And just roll it and tap it and roll it and tap it and roll it and tap it. It takes forever, but it's worth it. I gave it to my wife. It fit, and we put it up because she
most people
likes it
who know
so much.
me, like most people who know me know that I'm like anything when it comes to like metal. All right, so like I worked at a foundry for a year and a half, where it's like castings that I had castings big around than in your living room that we would get up on.
Right,
They would call them the man killers because at one point in time they killed a man. Um,
right.
People would get wigged out of their minds, and when they get up under them cranes or something, thinking it's invisible, and it's a 10-ton casting, you know, and it crush them.
That's right.
uh, then I've done just about every type of machinist, whether it be palletizer operating, case packer operating, backhoes, bulldozers, swap out engines all day long. I've always been into that kind of stuff.
Right.
Um, Different kind of things, you know. I've been wanting to get into metal detecting. I got a metal detector I finally got,
Oh, that's
and
cool.
I've
I've
been
done a
wanting to go
little
to
bit
like
of
some of
that.
the different
You know
beaches
what I
and
want to see you do?
do
Something I
some
think
metal detecting.
something I think that go over well with your channel and your style of interacting with people is to get involved in some metal detecting / magnet fishing. I got a sneaking suspicion you might
I've
have a
actually thought about magnet fishing.
I think you might have the right eye to find the most eclectic things because I suspect when you look at a body of water, you don't look at it from a fishing perspective.
So I
You look
had
at
the
it from a
idea.
upper body perspective.
So I need if you guys in chat know who Eric Brandt is,
Yes,
I
free Eric
need
Brand.
I need one of the Eric Brandt flags because what my plan is all right. So I want to get a rifle case, right? Just an empty rifle case, and I want to take an Eric Brandt fuck bad cops flag, and I want to put it inside of the rifle case, okay? And then I want to go magnet fishing, but I'm going to have it look like I'm actually fishing with a fishing pole, right? And I'm going to go up here
Yeah.
whenever it's the time of year that you're not supposed to fish, and I'm going to do it without a
Get you an
license.
ugly stick.
And when
Dude, I'm not sure, dude. That might
when
be
they
some
come up
form of
harassing me
bait.
for a fishing license, well, I'm not fishing for fish. Well, what are you talking about? You got a fishing pole in the water. Did you see me for real fishing?
Well, that's some hellacious bait you got there, Captain. When you really did a 600-pound test line and
So
a
anyway,
60-pound magnet on the end.
the plan is eventually, they're going to take the rifle case off of my back, and they're going to pull it out of the bag, and it's going to have the big old Eric Brandt flag. Oh man, that would go over really awesome. Oh
Carrie,
man,
I'm
that would
not
go
sure
over
a
really
Glock was perfect
awesome.
before it got soaked in the water.
Even if somebody else took that idea and did that, and became famous, I would not be jealous. I would be happier than fuck, and I would laugh my ass off for weeks.
Right? And it'd be 1,000,000 views. Hell, this show'd pick up 60. There you go. All right.
Magnet Fisher detained has an Eric Brandt fuck bad cops flag.
Right. Get it on their body cam. You're terrible. You're a bad person. You're going to hell.
We confiscated the weapon, sir.
Yeah, we got it. All right, brother. So tell me this. What channels do you watch when you wake up in the morning? What are the first channels you look up on your YouTube? See who posted last night.
I start scrolling. I just start scrolling down and see who's live. Or News Now Lisa. She's been putting in some work. She's been doing really good work. She got sponsored by San Juan Valley the other day.
Right, I saw that.
I more or less try to figure out or see what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, or see what's up with the people that support me.
Right.
I wake up sometimes and I hadn't even looked at a video or nothing, and then it's like, hey, did you hear? No, what did you hear, man? What did you hear? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not like anything or whatever, but sometimes I've had just by keeping connections with people and keeping in touch with supporting people, we'd find people that were in jail for a week or 2 weeks, and just because it's unusual for them to not communicate with you or something like that, then all of a sudden it's like, all right, well, now let's figure out where he's at, figure out what station's got him, and then we usually figure out somebody's in jail, and we'll start putting in the works and putting out the phone numbers and getting the do not calls and all that good stuff out there. I wanted to pick up where Eric Brandt left off. I wanted to make a change in the world when it came to police brutality. If people had something that they wanted a voice, I want them to be able to come up and say it and not be afraid of ridicule. Or not even be afraid of ridicule, but just for them to know they have a place they can say it. And somebody is listening.
That's right. And I've always been of the opinion, and I've hosted a lot of different style auditors and a lot of different types of people who audit for various reasons, whether they're cop watching or auditing or whatever it is that they're doing and why they're doing it. I've always said, I don't care why you're defending my rights. I appreciate that you are.
Thank you. Oh yeah, thank you.
And I know
that's everyone.
I know for a fact there's no way I could go out there and deal with those smart aleck cops without
going off. You still there? Did we lose you?
smarting off harder.
I couldn't hear you there for a minute. It was froze up.
My internet's fixing to drop up. But hey, that's a show. You did a show. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming up.
Hey, no worries, man. If y'all like what you see, Yeet Radio, live free, live life. That's the best way to live.
It is.
Even small people, if there's been people where they're like, hey, I'm stranded, and I'll tell them, well, help, put your PayPal link in. They'll be like, no. I'll be like, well, put it in the chat. You ain't gonna get no help if you don't ask for help. Don't be ashamed to ask for it. And the most someone's gonna tell you is no. And
well,
usually
most people don't even respond if they're not going to.
Mm-hmm. But we've had a lot of good things going on the past few days. We've had a lot of good movements going on. We got a lot of good things planned for the near future, so it's going to get fun.
That's right. Okay. So do you have anybody you want to shout out before we go out?
Yeah, let me get a shout out to News Now Lisa. That's my girl, She's been putting in hella good work out there in Miami, Oklahoma, a place where cops are trying to make it illegal to film them or post information about them. So go and give her a subscribe and check her out.
And that's News Now, Lisa.
Yep.
Yeah, Furry Potato got shot a while back, and then later got arrested for filming on the sidewalk of the same building that they shot him at. And they made up, like, they literally, I have a short on my channel of them making up bullshit on the spot to arrest her, and they arrested her for nothing except being a person on a sidewalk with a camera.
Wow.
So I don't know, just because these foreign people over here decided that she can't be there with her camera, and they arrested her, and it's ridiculous.
Right.
It's ridiculous. But anyway, I'm fixing to put you backstage for a second. I'm not going to be able to play out, but I am going to throw up the little visual cue for the editing thing, and then I'll drop the link in chat, and we'll go from there. Do a whole different thing after this.
Well, I was gonna say, we got snow here, so I'm about to have to head out anyway, go plowing
Yeah, man.
driveways. And,
I'm not trying to hold you back. I'm just, we're at that point where I go ahead and do the little play out. You can stick around a minute, or you can go. It's up to you.
all righty, man. Hey, thank you for having me up. I
I
appreciate
appreciate
you.
you taking the time, man. And thank
Hey,
you for what you do.
anytime. Hey, no worries, man. I appreciate it. It makes me feel better.
All right, brother. I'm gonna mute you for a minute, and I'll bring you back up in just a second. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the show. We have Yeet Radio, live live life live for. Okay, I give up. I can't do it. I have tried 1,000 times. Maybe it's my southern accent, but the link will be in the description. You'll be able to find everything you need to know about it, man. Go check him out. Give him a like, comment, and subscribe. He certainly has some interesting views on the world, and he he has no issue speaking his mind to the public. So it's certainly an interesting venue for a live stream. I've always enjoyed being in the chat, and while I don't always chat, I do usually respond when called out on something in chat. So I want to thank each and every one of you for coming by. I know y'all had plenty of things y'all could be out doing on a Saturday night rather than listening to this fuzzball. But with that being said, oh, that's over. We're going to go with that one. See if it works. Yes, it works. Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to hit this button over here. Y'all aren't going to hear anything, and it's going to be fan-fucking-tastic. No, that's the wrong button. That's not it at all. I just want to see the image for 10 seconds. Yeah, no, none of this shit is actually working. All right, good enough. Fuck it, we're done.
Check out the shingle mill. Used to cut shingles. That's neat.
Probably a good time to talk about mental health. If you're struggling with mental health, make sure you reach out to somebody you know, love, and trust. In lieu of that, my email is mexicanlonghair@gmail.com. I'm not a psychiatrist, a psychologist, or a therapist, but sometimes just reaching out and talking to somebody helps. But if you're having a crisis that can't wait, just remember, hold on to this thought, somebody out there thinks you're their favorite. Could save your life. Okay, y'all.